Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. Well, looky what we have here, guys. Fear and Greed Index has moved up 9 points since yesterday. Yesterday we were sitting in around 50. If I'm not mistaken, I think I got that number correct, and now we're at 59, so still in neutral territory. But you can see market has picked up based on sentiment. Now the market cap is at $2.35 trillion, so that is up 4.14%. 24-hour volume, guys, is also going up. So we have seen a bit of a price spike in Bitcoin, which I'm going to get to in a second, 14.67% for 24-hour volume. And Bitcoin dominance, of course, Bitcoin always the leader of the pack and going to be the leader in this second phase of the bull run. So dominance now 54.3%. We can see Bitcoin in the last 24 hours up 4.7. Ethereum's up 2.87, guys. Binance coin's up 3.2. Solana up 8.77%. I'm really happy to see that. XRP, guys, up 1.67. XRP still sitting at around 49 cents, 50 cents, give or take. Well, look at that. Just moved over 50 cents. So I think it's because we're seeing now the Bitcoin halving coming up very, very soon. And I think even though we've gotten a lot of indications that the Bitcoin halving is not really going to affect price too much, I think, the narrative surrounding the halving, this is getting people really excited. I think retail traders particularly, whoops, what the heck happened there? Okay, now I'm trying to refresh the halving countdown, and it doesn't look like it's moving here. Okay, I guess maybe a lot of people are tracking the halving event and, maybe flooding to the website for whatever reason now. Oh, there we go. Okay, 12 hours, 15 minutes. That's what we have left. And the halving is set to happen this evening, April the 29th, 2024, hovering in and around that midnight time. So it could be the 19th or the 20th, I guess, just depending on the hash rate and what the activity is looking like over there on the Bitcoin blockchain. But guys, halving is happening tonight. I guess to my larger point here, Bitcoin price moving because of retail traders and maybe institutional traders. We did not get below $59,000. That was probably a bit of a psychological level for a lot of traders. 59,290. That was where we did wick down back in early March 2024. Did see that all-time high, and then pretty much have just been trading sideways since then. Right now, the price of Bitcoin is hovering in and around 64,800, so getting very, very close now, back up to $65,000 per coin. These are the kinds of metrics, guys, by the way, that I think are more important. Ali from Ali Charts here pointing this out. Okay, each Bitcoin bull cycle goes through a euphoric phase, signaling the market top. Bitcoin has yet to see that euphoria in the cycle. So generally what we see the capitulation that is represented in red over here on the chart. And we saw it back in 2015, 2019, and of course in 2022 and into 2023. And then, beginning 2023 and now into 2024, guys, we did see the market start to pump. So we saw that orange and yellowish color. 2024 is getting very exciting. So that is the greenish color here. So you can see these market trends tend to pretty much do the same thing time and time again. Every 4 years, we see the similar kind of trend. And this is why, on this channel, I've been saying 2024, very similar to 2020 in terms of what we were feeling back then. And I had the luxury of being here in 2020. I don't know how many of you guys were here back in 2020 to put it down in the comment section. How long you've been watching Working Money Channel. So 2020, again, distant history, but also something that we should refer to. We don't have to necessarily look at it as, full fact, but we definitely should refer to it in terms of this bull run, what's going to happen next, the next phase, the next leg up. Many things do suggest that if history repeats itself, this one courtesy of Rect Capital, by the way, the next bull market could peak in and around 518 to 546 days after the halving. So that would be roughly mid-September or mid-October 2025. So something else that I have noticed here, now this is the second time somebody is bringing this up. Let me just bring up my Bitcoin halving chart here. And as you guys know now, the Bitcoin halving is going to happen probably the 19th. This is the hourly chart, so let me throw that on the daily. 19th here, and actually let me get rid of some of that in there. So Bitcoin halving the 19th. In the past, what we have seen, I'll get rid of that, and it's time and time again what we have seen is that, Bitcoin generally does peak roughly 500 days from the halving point. So we did see that roughly in and around here, 548 days, and then 500 days roughly to the bottom of the market, which was roughly in and around here, 512 days. So about 500 and some odd days. As per Rect Capital, we saw, a bit of an average here, 518 to 546, and this has happened time and time again. So the halving point in 2016, it's the same measurements. I'm not going to put the measurements back on this chart, but you guys can check for yourself. So even over here, guys, halving date, and we bring it back 518 days, give or take, 518, 520. That would bring us down to the bottom of the market in 2022, December 2022. So projecting mid-September or mid-October, pinpointing that date is going to be an interesting task. And for all my Patreon subscribers, we're going to get into more detail about this, patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. If you're interested in what I'm trading this time around, what my strategy is going to be so that I can maximize profits. If you're like me and you feel like you did not cash out of enough crypto in the last bull run, well, I've decided to switch things up and I'm sharing my journey this time around. The bull run of 2024 and into 2025 with my Patreon subscribers at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. And so this time around, I know it sounds so cliche, but this time it is going to be different. Mr. Man here posting this, the upcoming Bitcoin halving in 2024, and Bitcoin ETFs in the US are fueling speculation of a Bitcoin supercycle. And you don't have to take it from Mr. Man. You don't have to take it from me. This is the new Binance CEO, Richard Tang, and his prediction for Bitcoin and the super cycle. Listen to this.
This cycle is a bit different from past cycle. I mean, you have been involved in crypto, so you know. Crypto normally go through 4-year cycle, right? Price movement cycle, which coincide with the halving, which is going to take place in about 9 days' time for Bitcoin. It's normally after about 6 months after a halving that you see a new all-time high in terms of prices. But this time around, it happens even before the halving, right? Which is why it's unique in terms of market cycle. And one of the key reasons is really the introduction of the ETF, where you bring in so many new users, new liquidity, right? I think I saw some figure yesterday that 14 billion net inflows has gone into the crypto ETFs in the States, right? So those are important numbers, but it's still very early days because that is just the first part of it. With that, there'll be much more financial innovation, there'll be more product structuring that you come through. You see a lot more independent houses now being able to advise and their clients to do some allocation into crypto. The foundations, the endowments are going to come through. On our side, we see a lot of TradFi firms, right? The traditional trading firms, now adding crypto as an additional asset class into their suite of products that they trade constantly on a daily basis. And we start to serve them as well, right? So those will bring in new liquidity pools into this industry. So those are key positives. And we are very bullish, right, of the way forward. But we are still in the building stage. So we look forward to working closely with the rest to build this industry together.
Many have told us this year Bitcoin will hit 100,000.
Well, there are different financial projections. I mean, if you look at the Standard Chartered projection, is what, 200,000 or 250,000 by next year, right? So you have seen price point of 100, I've seen price point of 120. So all these are financial projections. What's important is we always stress to our users, do your own research, right? Just don't be led by others. Don't just hearsay from your friends, from people that think they're in the know. Do your own research, use your own money, be prudent with them, invest responsibly.
Do you have a price in your head this year?
I have a price, but I think it will exceed my price.
In your own opinion, what is it?
My price last year, before the introduction of the ETF, I didn't see the impact of the ETF. My price last year is I would have thought Bitcoin will end at about 80,000 this year. But I've revised my price upwards slightly because of the inflow that I'm seeing. So, but again, this is not financial advisory. This is my own view of the world.
So his Bitcoin prediction originally started at 80,000, but he has upped that, and that prediction was for the end of the year. So because he's been seeing these inflows that we've now noticed from institutional buyers, edging that price target up makes a lot of sense to the new CEO of Binance, Richard Tang. And even just looking at the chart now on the daily, huge wick down, followed by a big move up for Bitcoin, guys. So this could be it now. I think there's still going to be a lot of sideways trading. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to shoot up from here. Nevertheless, good to have our thumb on the pulse. So wanted to thank Rect Capital and Ali Charts just for posting that. Also, Mr. Man, for posting that one. Now, XRP Daily, guys, bringing this to our attention. Former SEC litigator Leighton Stewart says that the agency is likely to back off from bringing regulatory clarity cases against crypto firms, and the agency's lawsuit against Ripple is likely to make its way to the Supreme Court. Oh no, does this mean we're in for some more pain before we see those gains? Just down here, going to summarize this for you. Former SEC litigator Leighton Stewart spoke on a panel alongside blockchain lawyers, including Rebecca Rettig of Polygon, according to a Fortune Crypto report on Wednesday. Stewart shared her perspective on the agency's approach to the blockchain sector and the SEC's lawsuit against Ripple and Coinbase. Stewart said that the agency is unlikely to back off from bringing regulatory cases against crypto firms. The former SEC regulator said that the agency's lawsuit against Ripple is likely to make it all the way to the Supreme Court. And Leighton Stewart, if you guys remember, did work for the SEC and has now gone on, I believe, into private practice. The issue of what constitutes a security remains unsettled, and Stewart said that there will still be some clarity on this, or there, I guess, still needs to be clarity for this specific definition. Ripple secured a partial victory, of course, against the regulator. However, the firm now faces massive fines of nearly $2 billion. The SEC is likely to appeal the programmatic sales ruling from 2023 that considers XRP's secondary market sales on exchanges as not investment contracts or not security transactions. So that is just, just one opinion from one lawyer. This is a former lawyer from the SEC. Hopefully, it doesn't make it all the way to the Supreme Court. Hopefully, we can see, a bit of an easing at this point. And, I still think Ripple's on track to bring in that utility once we do see that XRP volume. I think at the end of the day, because we do have the clarity, and now that there's physically an option for American traders specifically, it's the US traders, to be able to trade XRP on the open market, this is what's going to cause the supply and demand in this spec market. And I know, some have been critical of the XRP community, saying, now it's just kind of, everybody's just kind of hoping for a 2017-2018 bull run style XRP pump. In 2021, we just did not get it. But because of the clarity, guys, many people are looking towards this, this chart pattern and, the way XRP did move 2 bull runs ago. And I'm hoping we at least can surpass the all-time high. That would be, definitely beneficial for XRP holders. Again, XRP is the lion's share of my cryptocurrency portfolio. And if you want to see what I'm trading, all my altcoins, the new coins that I decided to choose for the $10,000 plus portfolio and my legacy portfolio, you can follow me, patreon.com/workingmoney channel. John Deaton's also slamming Elizabeth Warren for her anti-stablecoin letter. This one courtesy of Michael Branch, guys. In a scathing rebuke, XRP lawyer John Deaton lashed out against Elizabeth Warren for her recent letter to Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen. The letter highlighted concerns over stablecoins and their potential exploitation by terrorist organizations and rogue nations. Meanwhile, Deaton took to X to voice his criticism. John Deaton highlighted the issue as misplaced priorities on Senator Warren's part. He did bring up all the problems that are occurring in Massachusetts right now. Moreover, the XRP advocate emphasized the senator's purported neglect of pressing domestic issues, such as those affecting Stewart hospitals. Deaton added, "Too bad she didn't pay this kind of attention on matters at home." Ooh. The XRP lawyer's remarks come in response to a post by Alexander Grieve, the government affairs lead at Paradigm, a tech investment. Paradigm, a tech investment firm. Where are we here? Let's go back there. Down in here, tech investment firm. In the post, Grieve shared snapshots of Elizabeth Warren's letter to the Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen. So, John Deaton, obviously not going to give Elizabeth Warren an easy pass here. He is fighting her in Senate. Vote for John Deaton, guys, come election time, if you are in the Massachusetts region. And if he is one of your options, if you are into crypto, obviously John Deaton is the guy to be voting in at that level. Removing Elizabeth Warren because, well, she's got Gary Gensler in her pocket. That has been now confirmed. But among other things, these politicians, I think there should be a cap on term limits. But again, that goes off into a whole other discussion. But you know what? I'm happy John Deaton is keeping her honest, keeping her on her toes. And I wanted to thank Michael Branch just for posting that. The stablecoin issue is going to be a hot button topic, is currently, I guess, a hot button topic. The regulations surrounding stablecoins, it's an interesting one. We are used to, this idea of a stablecoin backed one-to-one to whether it's the US dollar or the Great British Pound or the Canadian dollar or the euro or whatever it ends up being. Stablecoins are basically a mirror of fiat. But what if we had stablecoins backed by gold? And I know, some of the BRICS nations are already toying with this idea of whether it's leveraging their own national currencies for trade or using some kind of a combination of a currency, maybe something backed by gold. Guys, this is a brand new concept, but I think this is going to be the future. And even Warren Davidson does talk a little bit about this. Okay, a gold-backed commodity stablecoin?
In the market today, there are commodity-backed stablecoins. So in the absence of regulation by the federal government, the New York Department of Financial Services, for example, has recognized commodity-backed stablecoins. And commodity-backed stablecoins, to be clear, are a little different than what we think of as dollar-denominated stablecoins. So if you had a commodity-backed stablecoin backed by gold, it's stable because the value of it represents 1 ounce of gold. In the case of New York Department of Financial Services, they regulate a commodity-backed stablecoin backed by gold, and they have the entity offering it has physical custody of gold that is audited in conformance with the process laid out by this bill. And so I hope that we can get there. I'm thankful to be working with Mr. Himes for a possible amendment moving forward that would account for commodity-backed stablecoins. As part of our conversation, Mr. Himes has agreed to consider a regulatory regime for certain tokens that are backed by gold to make sure that 1 token equates to the promised amount of gold from the issuer. These would not be denominated in dollars, but would be redeemable for a fixed amount of the underlying commodity. And we're working on that language because that's a little different than the way that New York DFS has it. We would also allow for these coins to be brought under the state framework of the bill, which is the status quo. And state regulators would oversee the licensing and examination of these coins, just as they do today.
All right, I'm going to leave it there. There's about a minute left in the clip, but I think you guys get the point there. U.S. government's even wanting to look into, different types of stablecoins. Again, the stablecoin bill has just been proposed, and as you guys know, Ripple has also proposed, a stablecoin there backed 1-to-1 to the U.S. dollar. Now, Ripple, they've had to have had some inside information before taking it upon themselves to create a stablecoin. I think they kind of already knew where this market was going, and even we knew months ago that stablecoin regulation was on the table. Stablecoins are becoming popular because people can't, or at least my guess is, the entities that are involved in this, the financial institutions or governments or whatever, could not wrap their head around utilizing a cryptocurrency like XRP to facilitate these transactions. So, they're thinking, well, we probably need a stable coin. And, this is when JP Morgan came out with their JPM coin, right? Trying to figure out how this crypto system works. And, here Ripple's yelling from the rooftop saying, guys, you don't need a stable coin. We can, do all this through XRP. And, the stable coin is kind of a redundant mechanism there if you can use XRP to actually move physical fiat dollars. Nevertheless, Ripple's coming up with a stable coin and, considering what they had to go through with regards to regulatory clarity in the United States thus far, I have a feeling that they have all their T's crossed and their I's dotted at this point in time. Now, DJ Peter Vass also pointed this out. Okay, Ripple CEO does explain what would be great for XRP. Don't think for a second that the Ripple stablecoin is going to cannibalize XRP. Brad Garlinghouse did share his insight in a recent interview on Fox Business with Maria Bartiromo. The Fox journalist asked Garlinghouse to discuss his bold outlook on the crypto market, potentially doubling to reach $5 trillion by year end. And Brad Garlinghouse actually said that was a conservative prediction. Garlinghouse stressed that the $5 trillion projection for the crypto market is not even particularly ambitious in the broader context. He pointed out that diminishing BTC supply, particularly with the looming Bitcoin halving, coupled with a rising demand for Bitcoin facilitated by exchange-traded funds, taking these dynamics into account, Garlinghouse hinted that he may have actually underestimated the eventual scale. Guys, Brad Garlinghouse did also talk about some other things in that clip. I'm going to play you a little bit of it here, courtesy of Jack the Rippler. Listen to this.
Joining me right now exclusively is the CEO of Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse. Brad, it's great to see you.
Great to see you again.
Thank you so much for being here. First, assess where we are in this market because crypto is up huge in just the last couple of weeks, right?
Well, it's been up. It came down a little bit this past weekend. But I think if you step back here over the last 6 months, Bitcoin's up about 250%. I think you're going to continue to see tailwinds, partly because of the ETFs that have been approved, which you and I spoke about in Davos, but also the upcoming halving, which is imminent.
Yeah, it's a great point. The ETF introduction really broadened out the market in terms of potential users, I think, and people wanted to get in on it, so they bought an ETF to do so. But you recently predicted that the crypto market will double in size to $5 trillion by the end of 2024. That is a big prediction just by the end of this year.
Yeah, I don't even feel like it's that big a prediction when you step back. And, like any market, this is driven by supply and demand. You have decreasing supply for a whole bunch of reasons, the halving Bitcoin being an important one. You have an increasing demand, the ETF being a key part of that. And I think it's also people realizing that crypto plays a role as an asset. It's a $2.5 trillion market. Maybe it's a little less than that now. But so it's basically just predicting it's going to double by the end of the year. And if anything, I think I probably underpredicted that.
I feel like Washington is still trying to understand this market, and the people writing the legislation or potential legislation here to put barriers and around this market. I don't know that they really understand the strength and the growth story here. But you think putting regulation around this, putting barriers in place is going to be a positive for this market?
There is no question. I mean, one of the headwinds that has held back the market, the largest economy in the world, the United States, has been one of the most problematic for the crypto market. Innovation, entrepreneurs, and capital have flown into markets that have actually constructively engaged this market. So Dubai, Singapore, even the UK, the EU has passed legislative progress here. The U.S. has really been behind the eight ball. This administration, I think, has taken a pretty anti-crypto stance, led by the SEC. Gary Gensler, as the chair, has really taken...
Because he doesn't understand it.
I think there's
well, maybe he doesn't. The people working for him don't.
It's not clear to me. I mean, clearly, I think you have politicians, and I would frankly call out Elizabeth Warren goes out and says the only people using crypto are, bad actors. It's just not true. And the U.S. should have a pro-innovation, pro-compliance policy. This is good for, in terms of growing jobs, high-paying jobs, growing the economy. And I think you're seeing, people go out and just, talking points around anti-crypto that it doesn't even make sense. This shouldn't even be a partisan issue. This is about growing our economy.
Yeah.
This is about leading the next wave of innovation. I was around Silicon Valley when the internet was booming, massive amount of value creation, massive amount of job creation. The blockchain and crypto space is here to stay, and I think that's become clearer and clearer. But the U.S. government needs to embrace that and put those clear rules around it so that all participants can play and grow.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned all of those countries, because that's also an opportunity for you, obviously, at Ripple. I want to get your take on that, because you recently announced Ripple is launching a U.S. dollar-backed stablecoin later this year. You say this bridges the gap between traditional finance and cryptocurrency. Tell us how that will play out, why it's valuable, and give us the growth story for Ripple. Where does growth come from at your company in the coming 3 years?
So to start on that last piece, Ripple, about over 95% of our customers are non-U.S. financial institutions. We sell payment solutions, we sell custody solutions around blockchain and crypto. We're going to keep expanding, even though the U.S. market, as we were talking about earlier, partly from a regulatory point of view, has been slow to adopt. The non-U.S. market has been really, really strong for us. And you're
going to be the infrastructure around all of that.
That is our goal. And we think that opportunity is huge. We think that's going to be great for Ripple. We think it's going to be great for XRP, which is a digital asset we use. So I'm very, very optimistic about that. I just think that the U.S. needs to figure it out.
It's going to be great for Ripple, and it's going to be great for XRP, guys. Don't let the stablecoin fool you. XRP is still going to be needed in this new financial system, regardless of how many stablecoins there are. And I mean, to move from a stablecoin to a different type of stablecoin that might be tied to a commodity like gold or something similar, as per Warren Davidson here, we're going to need the Ripple stablecoin in order to facilitate those trades. Remember, the banks around the world are not going to want to hold their competition stablecoin. So what better measure to take than for Ripple to create one, leveraging the power of XRP to move these stablecoins around? That's just my opinion, though. I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.